I saw not long ago, I'm pretty sure it was a pastor, and he was talking about the human species is the only species who has it the hardest. He was just trying to make a little joke before he started his sermon. And he was saying, because we have to keep from birth all the way through age 18. We're not like birds and just like, yep,
Time to
hope
go.
you're ready to fly. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sip and Share.
Sip and share. Sip and share.
Sip, sip, sip,
Sip and share. Sip and share.
sip, sip, sip,
Sip and share. Sip and share.
and share.
Let's
sip and share. Sip
let's
and
go.
share. Sip, sip,
Let's
and
go.
share. Sip, sip, sip,
Let's
sip, sip, sip,
go.
sip, 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 and share.
Let's go.
Where are we going? That it really just doesn't make sense to say let's go.
Let's
We're
get
not
started
going
with the
anywhere.
show. Let's go. Let's
Okay,
get
so
started
let's
with
get
the
started with the show.
Let's get started with the show. So I want to know about the stuff in your cup because it's hydrogen and oxygen is H2O.
Yes. Water once again. Just detoxing a bit, guys. Drinking a little water. Never can get too much water in your body, you know? And hey,
Refreshing.
did you know, even though they say drink X amount of water per day, it actually, varies dependent upon your activity. For instance, if you're out running, then that intake needs to increase.
Okay.
If you've done some type of physical activity where you're sweating, you're exerting a lot of effort, then you need to take in a little bit more water. So, guys, don't just go by the bare minimum or the saying of what everybody thinks you're supposed to drink, which is what, 64 ounces?
64 ounces.
64 ounces. So just keep in mind it varies per person and per your activity.
So if I'm sitting around doing nothing, should I drink less water?
Anyhow, as I was saying, the amount varies per person
Kill me.
and per activity. Look alive to me.
Look alive.
Look alive to me.
Because I'm drinking so much water.
So today, guys, we want to talk to you about a subject, one that we are fairly new in. And the subject is being an
Empty nester.
I saw not long ago, I'm pretty sure it was a pastor, and he was talking about the human species is the only species who has it the hardest. He was just trying to make a little joke before he started his sermon. And he was saying, because we have to keep from birth all the way through age 18. We're not like birds and just like, yep,
Time to
hope
go.
you're ready to fly. We don't do that. We have to nurture and care for our kids at least for 17, 18 years, depending upon the age of your kids.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, sometimes you're doing it longer than that, because I know some people who've had their children in-house with them.
Yeah.
For 20s, 30s almost sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But he was just making a little joke about it. But it did make a lot of sense. We spend a lot of our lifetime as adults. If you're a parent, a lot of your 18 years worth, you are dedicating to nurturing and rearing a child, to making a person that's going to go out into the world. Right?
I never really thought about that. If you think, the only species. I'm trying to imagine a bear walking around with this baby bear for 18 years.
What you doing? Why are you still here?
Or a bird sitting up in the nest, for a long time, whatever.
I love that TD Jakes one, but I do think there's an analogy between the bird's nest and the nest of parenting as a human. And maybe that's why we have the whole thing empty nesters.
Okay.
I remember T.D. Jakes, he had that phenomenal sermon.
Okay.
And he talked about how...
Oh, the Eagle's Nest.
Yeah, the Eagle's Nest. If you haven't watched that, go back and watch it. It's really old. It's Absolutely. A long time ago.
It's amazing, though.
But it's on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So he sits in this nest that they had built. And he said that what the parent does, the parent eagle, they start to agitate the other eagles by turning the sticks inward to forcefully push them out of the nest.
Right.
Because what will happen is they could get too comfortable. Hey, you're feeding me. Right?
Oh,
you're caring for me. You're going out doing all the work. I have shelter. I have food. I have care. And they just want to sit there. Mm-hmm. So the eagle turns it inward to agitate them, to make the space smaller, that they're like, I got to get out of here.
Yeah.
Fly out, right?
It makes it uncomfortable because originally with the nest, the way it's built, the sticks are protruding outwardly to defend off and protect against enemies. But as the little eaglets get older, like she said, they turn them inward. So the eaglet's like, oh, this isn't comfortable. I probably need to get up out of here, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So even the eagle realizes protection is only for a certain time.
Right.
Nurturing is only for a certain time. And then it's time for me to push you into the world to do for yourself. Right.
That's right.
And maybe they'll pass by in flight. I don't know. And be like, hey, what's up?
I see you doing well. I see you doing well. Out here flying. You're just out here flying. We just soaring above, rising above.
But I get the analogy for us as humans, because I think for a lot of parents, becoming an empty nester is difficult. I cried.
Yeah, it's bittersweet.
I cried about it, but it's also coming to the realization that you can't be their cover and the provider and the protector and the nurturer and the everything for your child. There comes a point where they have to fly out, step out on their own. Right?
Yeah, this is interesting, man. It's kind of getting my brain waves going or whatnot. You
got some?
Yes, because I left the nest very early and I developed my own brainwaves, which we'll talk about here in a minute. But I will say, just as in we're the only species that, takes care of our offspring for 18 years or so, I think also we're the only species whose children will sometimes come back to take care of the parents as well. Because, if you think about it, there's no other animal out there that says, hey, I'm going to come on back to the eagle now and take care of the old eagle. We're the only species that does that as well. So the important thing about that is, you become an empty nester. That's why we say it's bittersweet. You have fun, you enjoy it. But at some point in time, the tables will flip-flop, if you will. So you got to make sure you continue to be there as a safety net, not an enabler, but a safety net for those eagles that have gone off to fly. Because one day, those eagles or children now that have become adults may have to come back and take care of the person that gave that birth.
There is a very, very good book out there. I don't want to say Goodnight Moon, but that's the one that's coming to my mind, where the mother is reading to the son and she's doing stuff for the son, bathing the son, and then it flip-flops and he starts doing that for her. That is such a great book, guys. Right. Go out and get it. I'll put it up here. I want to say Goodnight Moon, but I don't want to say for sure. But I thought you were going to say, you might be in this phase where you become an empty nester. Mm-hmm. The child comes back.
Oh, okay.
That's what I thought you was going to say, because we're another species. We're the only species in that sense, too, where you think you might have become an empty nester, but then something comes about that your child needs to come back.
Sure.
And we've always told our children, because we don't want them to ever feel like they're in the world alone. They have to do things out of convenience. They have to make choices that they wouldn't make in a particular time. We always want them to know, hey, we're here for you, and you always have a home.
Facts.
Now,
that's right.
I ain't finna be your mama like I was when you was 2 and 18.
She ain't gonna be dropping worms in your mouth and stuff.
Yeah, I ain't gonna be dropping worms in your mouth. If we cooking and I got enough, I'm gonna cook. Yeah, I will. We will cook. Of course, things like that. But yeah, you're gonna do your own laundry. You're gonna clean your own room, and you may even have to put a little fee in to help out around the house. There you go.
So, little eaglet, when did you leave your nest?
When did I leave my nest? Mentally, I left my nest very early.
Oh, so you can leave your nest long before you physically.
Yeah, I think that there's a mental leaving and there's a physical leaving. I was one of those children. I was a latchkey kid, and I was the protector and caretaker for my brother a lot of times. I was the oldest grandkid, so I always was above my age level, right?
Okay.
So I feel like though I may have been under someone's rooftop,
okay,
I was doing a lot of things as if I had left the nest. I was working 2 jobs. At one point, I was a teen mom. So, but I do appreciate having the nest there. But I just feel like the way I operated, I was already almost out. Not physically, but mentally, I was out of the house.
I never really considered that. Never thought about that really.
Yeah.
I think I left my nest mentally and physically very early, right? So instead of the eagle maybe, turning the twigs inside to agitate, I think I was kind of like, hey man, there's probably more outside this nest, that kind of thing. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump out, whether I know how to fly or not. I'm gonna learn how to fly while I'm in the air, so to speak. So yeah, I left very early. I would probably say, I don't know, back and forth between other nests, 15, 16, back and forth home and stuff like that too. So that's another aspect, maybe I'm not 18, but maybe I'm younger than 18 and I leave the nest and come back and start exploring earlier than others, and everybody's got different strokes, different folks, things like that too. So I was going to transition now to, we were talking about the eagle as symbolism a lot, but then we'll switch over to the bear, because I talked about the bear earlier, raising the bear till the bear's 18, walking around together, whatever. I think bears live in dens, right? I think the bear den. All right. Sure. So, I don't know a whole lot of bears that wear clothes, but maybe Winnie the Pooh and Yogi, and I think Yogi wears a tie.
Yogi only has a
tie and a hat. He just walks around.
Winnie the Pooh only wears a red.
Winnie the Pooh only walks around.
He don't have on pants.
Winnie the Pooh, he just walk around with a shirt
and a honey pie.
Yogi walking around with a tie and a collar and a hat. There's some more bears out there?
I don't know, babe.
I can't think of any bears. But anyway, here's the thing. We're gonna talk about the den. Now, when the little baby cubs leave the den, I would imagine the bears go, if just a red shirt or not, I could take the shirt off. I could walk around how I want to walk around now and be how I want to be now, right? So from your perspective, again, there's pros and cons because it's bittersweet. She already said that she cried. But what are the advantages and pros that you picked up on as being in an empty nest now?
It is very difficult. So the last child, that's why I'm wearing this, number 3. Our 3rd child, we became empty nesters last year in June. Right?
Yes.
He did go off to college for a stint, but I don't really call that empty nest because they come back for breaks, and he stayed a couple of months and did some virtual stuff, things like that. But this is actually one of the first jerseys I ever bought him as well. And he outgrew it. So he gave it back to me. And it's just so funny that, is number 3. He was number 3, and it was heartbreaking. And, I said, I think I told him something to the fact of, I know it's time for you to move on. And if you were to stay right here in this nest, you wouldn't grow to be the man you need to be. Right. Because mama bears tend to hover and nurture and protect. They want they the ones, it's the mom most times with the animals that are protected. Like sometimes the mom has to protect the cub from the dad. There's one particular, I don't know what animal it is, but the dad will hurt the baby.
The mom's protect.
The mom's protect.
I guess that happens in human lives too sometimes.
We ain't gonna talk about those things, y'all. But to answer your question, once you get over being shell shocked, of they're not there any longer, you open a door or whatever and you don't see them, or they're not coming, my son coming to do my shoulders like this and I'm watching something on TV, or asking me what I'm cooking, coming in there with me to look at what I'm cooking, and I still miss those things to this day. But I love my birthday suit with my robe.
Yo, Tisha, it's your birthday. We having birthday parties every day around here. Just birthday suits, just every day.
Yeah, I think I'm tired of seeing the birthday. That's how much we see the birthday.
It's supposed to be special occasions. Why do they call them birthday suits anyway?
Because that's what you were born. You were
born. I never knew that. I always think about, I was like, man, I wear an actual suit on my birthday sometimes. So birthday suit.
So you came out your mama with clothes on. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Wow. So
I just learned something, y'all.
Anyway, guys. So I do love the luxury of the things that we get to do that your child shouldn't see or partake in. However, dang, you throwing me that you didn't know what a birthday suit was.
Oh gosh.
So God, babe, you really have thrown me for a loop there. Also, I wanted to bring up the fact that because we had kids very young, so imagine here you have these 18-year-olds, right? And we make it all the way. I was 43? Yeah, 42. Yeah. I was 42. That means you were 43. Yeah. So 18 through 42, 43, we were always raising kids.
Yeah.
Always.
We'll just say early 40s because we don't want nobody to know how old we are.
Always raising kids. So it is great to see just who we are as a couple. Yeah. And I'm glad to say that we didn't pour everything into our kids and forget about us. And I think that's very important as you are, at one point you're going to become an empty nester. You have to continue to build your relationship as a couple so that when you do reach that empty nester stage, you're right on point and you're able to even just elevate even more.
Yeah, that's facts. It's a good point. That we were kids raising kids. We had kids in our lives longer than we did not, right? I guess that's the standard. That's how it probably, should be anyway. But we had kids very early on. And then, we were always the young couple with kids where everybody was out having fun and we bring our kids along when we could. Now it's kind of reversed, right? Yeah. Now we're not as young and we don't have kids in the house. And yet some of our peers still kind of have kids in the house. So now we're kind of like free and they're just like, oh, you guys have so much freedom. So all in all, it's bittersweet. Definitely some pros and cons for sure. There's some benefits to having an empty nest, but it takes some getting used to. And so I agree with you. Having time to just really continue to date each other, even when you have young kids, finding trusted babysitters if you have them and things like that, and continuing to date each other. So when the time comes, it's kind of like we've been so focused on raising kids together that we forget what it's like for us to just kind of be together, which is pretty much where we are. And we have been very fortunate to have dated each other throughout that experience. So it hasn't been too much of an adjustment other than not really having your kids in the house and constantly wondering, are they okay?
Well, they're kind of still in the house. Well, one of them, we get calls and things like that. But we're looking forward for the days when we do become grandparents. But I will say, my daughter, she said, this is the time for you all. And y'all enjoy it. So I appreciate both of my children that they have not had children yet.
Right.
Because they are giving us and affording us the opportunity to just enjoy one another and to just be empty in the nest.
Yep, absolutely. Being empty in the nest. So all in all for me, like I said, very bittersweet. Just continue to take care of the children that you have. Yeah. Know that one day they're going to fly away. They will. And you just have to prepare yourself for that and just brace yourself for it.
And if they don't fly away, don't be afraid to turn those sticks inward and push them along, guys. Yep. I know far too well, being a mother, that we like to coddle and nurture those type of things, and that's a-okay. But we are preparing our children for the world. We are not going to be here for a lifetime. As a matter of fact, our children are not our own. They are gifted to us to be able to train up so that they can go out in the world and shine their light. That's right. So just keep that in mind. I know it's hard, but you can do it.
That's right. Ring a ring ring. So you get to do stuff like this when your nest is empty.
This how an empty nest kisses?
We ain't even kissed. First of all, we ain't even kissed.
But that's how we usually kiss. Like, we should be in our birthday suit. Right?
Go.
No, not me.
Empty nest kiss, y'all.
Yeah, and I know y'all can see his bird chest through that.
So y'all see my little bird?
You see his birthday suit.
Bird chest. Empty nest with a bird chest. That boy rhymes.
Somebody just hit on two.
Ain't no world. People don't know how to act when they get an empty nest for.
Sip and share. Sip, sip.
And share. Let's go now. Sip. and share. Sip, sip, and share. Let's go. Thank you, guys.